Okay, welcome everyone. This is our FIA block producer community meeting. We haven't had one of those actually in quite a while. I was surprised when I looked at him, like kept going back and back, like really? Was it April of last year that we had the last one? I guess time flies. So here we are. In terms of the agenda, I'm going to give a quick update in terms of what's happening in FIO. We've been busy building for throughout this winter, and there's a number of updates I want to share with everybody. Kind of share the foundation financials, and then talk about the upcoming FIO chain release. And I think Michael Lead is going to talk about that. And just some highlights of roadmap items that we have on coming up in the future. How can you help? That's going to be a new agenda item on all my meetings going forward. And lastly, just an open forum for everybody to bring up anything they feel needs to be discussed. I know there was an item brought up regarding the Ubuntu upgrade, so maybe during the chain 3.5, Michael or Ed, you can kind of talk about that as well. So let's get rolling. Okay, so FIO update adoption. We are 3 years old. I don't know, can't believe it, but we've been running this chain for 3 years now, and actually you guys have been running this chain for 3 years, so thank you very much for all your hard work. We're crossed the 1 million FIO crypto handles. We're at 1.1 right now, 12,000 domain registered, 75 integrations, 47 FIPS, and 80 million FIO token stakes. Those are kind of some of the highlights of the platform. Obviously, the crypto winter has been upon us for the last several months, so things have slowed a little bit in terms of growth and adoption, but hopefully that trend will reverse soon. In terms of what's been happening on the chain, like I said, we've been busy building. We have, I don't know how many FIPS is this, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 FIPS that we have coded up. And that's actually going to be part of this next release 3.5 that Michael is going to talk about. I'll just quickly give an update on what those are. So FIP36, we're going to add ability to fetch FIO public key for an account. So you probably remember that there is this notion of a account in FIO, but I'm sorry, in EOS.io, but we use the public key, which hashes down to the account. But sometimes if you just have the account and you're like, hey, I want to just send funds to an account, you can't really do that because you don't know what is the public key, and the FIO transfer action on FIO only supports the public key. So now it'll be just a convenience method for you to fetch the public key that's associated with an account. FIP37, we're going to lift the limit on number of FIO keys and accounts permission. That was something, a legacy thing. We had this in a long time ago since mainnet launch, but we kind of reevaluated that and felt that it's fine to lift that restriction. FIP38 is ability to create a FIO chain account. So again, this is one of those legacy things. Historically, you couldn't just create an account. You basically got an account automatically, either by registering FIO crypto handle or by sending tokens to a FIO public key. Now you will be able to just create an account, kind of like a shell account, if you wanted to. Has been something that's been requested by the community. FIP39, we now will support alternate FIO public key for encryption of new funds requests and record OBT. This is also something that's been requested by the community. So just a refresher, when you send a FIO funds request or record OBT, part of the data in there is encrypted using Diffie-Hellman encryption. And as part of that Diffie-Hellman, you need to use your private key and the persons you're sending to public key. So typically what happens is you will basically fetch the public key of the FIO crypto handle you're sending to, and then use that to encrypt the data so that they can decrypt it. The problem with that is that kind of forces, because the way you fetch this key is the same way you fetch an address when you want to send FIO tokens. So basically the public key for sending funds and the public key for encryption is the same. And the community has been asking for ability to basically differentiate this key. So I might have a separate key that I use for encryption, and a separate one I use for receiving funds. This is going to be optional, so if you don't do anything, it will still work the same it did, but you will have the option of now basically change those keys. FIP40 enables specified accounts to register FIO address on private FIO domains. This is, again, something the community has requested, where you have certain domains that you want to keep private, but you want to use, you don't necessarily, currently basically the way this works is the private key that owns the private domain is the only key that can actually register FIO crypto handles on it. And that can be problematic either because of security reason. You might want to keep your domain controlled by a different key than you're using on the server, for example, to pay for FIO address registrations or FIO crypto handle registrations. So now you'll be able to basically designate an account and say, I'm going to let this account register on my private domain. So it's still private, except you can now designate which accounts can register on it. FIP42 enable FIO address and domain registration in a single transaction. That's kind of like a convenience method. Right now, if you want to create, you first have to register your domain, and then you have to send another request to register the FIO address or FIO crypto handle. Now you'll be able to do that in one new transaction. 43 made FIO address optional for actions which do not require FIO address. That's just a small tweak to there are a few actions where the FIO crypto handle was optional, but it was kind of still required to be passed in the action. So that was a little problematic, but that's being fixed. FIP46 update chain plugin to increase get table rows timeout. This is something that we've implemented at mainnet launch, and it's actually as the chain continues to grow and there's more and more content in the tables, we are now potentially hitting a timeout where not all of the results are returned on certain getters. So we're going to fix that by increasing that limit. And FIP47, it's for you guys, allow FIO block producers to update their information. Historically, once you registered as a producer, you couldn't change anything. You would have to unregister and then register back, which was painful. So now you'll have the ability to update that information. So that's basically the FIP that's coming out. That's out there. And again, Michael is going to talk about the logistics of the release here in a second. Let's see what else. Update on wrapping. We finally launched wrapping. It's been a long time in the making, but it's now launched. It's functional. We have FIO domains being wrapped on Polygon, and FIO token being wrapped to Ethereum. This is now using a decentralized bridge. I think that's quite an accomplishment. If you look up throughout the industry, there's not a lot of bridges that are fully decentralized. Most of the bridges are actually centralized, where there is a single entity that kind of controls the bridge. We actually have one where it's controlled by a subset of block producers. So you guys, and I guess special thanks here to EOS USA, Detroit Ledger Technologies, and FIO Tribe for volunteering to run the oracles. Thanks so much, guys. And we have a collection on OpenSea now of wrap domains. So when you wrap a domain to Polygon, you can then actually list it on OpenSea, or you can buy one on OpenSea and then unwrap it to FIO. And now we have WFIO, which is wrapped FIO, available on Uniswap. So it's now fully decentralized trading of the FIO token that's out there. Dashboard, as you know, this has been kind of our primary product that we have launched over a year ago, I think now, that basically acts as kind of like this central repository for all things FIO, lets you, kind of keep track of all your domains, your FIO crypto handles, and have access to most of the functionality that FIO offers. Some of the things we've launched recently is you can now purchase FIO domain and a crypto handle using credit card, WeChat, BitPay. So more than just FIO tokens. Previously, you kind of had to acquire FIO tokens. That was a little problematic. Now you can just pay with credit cards. So super convenient. And the FIO FIO dashboard, as a reminder, is really a very kind of like intended to be like an e-commerce type solution that's easy for users to understand. It is a decentralized wallet, but it kind of works by you just signing up with an email and a password. So it's a very familiar construct to the user, as opposed to backing up your seed phrases and things like that. We now have a FIO Ledger app that we have launched. So previously, we had the Ledger support only using Anchor Wallet and EOS IO Ledger app, which was a little convoluted. We now have our own app. If you go to Ledger Live, you search for FIO, you will see that there is an app you can install on your Ledger. And it doesn't work on Live itself, so you can't use Ledger Live to send and receive tokens. Unfortunately, that's a separate process that Ledger kind of is very, very protective of. And I don't know how long it's going to be before we're listed there. But once you install the app using Ledger Live, you can then come to the dashboard and actually connect with your Ledger. So your private key will be stored on that Ledger, and you'll be able to send and receive tokens. And pretty soon you'll actually be able to do most of the other actions. So vote and send FIO requests and all sorts of other features. We actually have another version of the Ledger app that's pending Ledger approval. Hopefully in the next few weeks it'll be approved and roll out and will be supported in the dashboard. So currently the Ledger app is only supported by the dashboard, but it is open source implementation, so anybody out there can integrate the FIO app into their application that uses FIO and be able to basically sign with their Ledger private key. We also have a domain sales affiliate program now, which is actually something that, if you guys want to utilize, you're welcome to. Obviously, you guys are making money from the fees, but this is a program where you can come to the dashboard, you can sign up as an affiliate, and then basically get a link that you can post out there. And if somebody clicks that link, comes to the dashboard and registers a FIO domain, you will actually insert your TPIT into the transaction, which means you will currently get 50% of that registration fee directly to your TPIT. So if somebody buys a $40 domain, you'll get $20 instantly. And you don't have to build the product or anything. You just go and sign up and get a link, just like you would in many other affiliate programs. Something you may consider, just advertising out there. We have partner landing pages now as well. So historically, we offered the partners ability to integrate the chain directly using the APIs and SDKs. Now there's an easier way for them to do it. They can just send the user to the dashboard, and we'll get them a little branded version of it, a landing page that has their logo and also lets them earn revenue from any activities of their users. We have multi-year domain registrations and renewals, kind of similar to how you can buy a web domain for 3 years in one shot. You can do that now on the dashboard with a regular domain. And many people actually do. When they sign up, they would buy the domain for 2 or 3 years instead of just one. So obviously higher fees up front. And a bunch of usability studies and results that we've done a study, a usability testing of the dashboard last year. There was a number of learnings from it, and we've been steady implementing those and kind of streamlining the purchase flow, the registration, landing page designs, and things like that. Foundation governance. So we do have a new board that was elected. It's actually great that we have now 3 BPs represented on the foundation board, which is awesome. And we have 2 FIO partners that have actually integrated the FIO protocol. So that's great to hear. I'm not going to read out all the names, but you can see it on the slide here. We've been excited to have you guys involved and represented on the board. Please vote. Just a reminder, the way that the governance works is that the FIO token holders are electing the board. There's a page on the wiki that kind of talks about how to vote, but you basically just send a FIO request to a designated FIO crypto handle, and you indicate who you want to vote, and then basically whatever tokens you are holding are then going to be assigned to those candidates that you're voting on. So that's the primary governance mechanism that we have in our governance. So please vote. The votes are counted every 4 months, I think. The next count is on August 16th. So it's kind of continuous voting. You can vote at any time, but it's basically counted 4 times a year. And depending on the allocation of the votes, then the board actually elects the members. There's some Cayman law specific regarding that governance, but that's kind of how it works. So yeah, please vote. Continuation, we also have a new steering committee. So as a reminder, token holders vote on the board. The board then appoints the steering committee, and the steering committee kind of oversees all of the foundation day-to-day activities, including funding worker proposals and kind of monitoring how they're progressing. So we currently the steering committee is 5 members. We have just had a election probably about a month ago, I think, or so. And we now have 4 new members. I'm the only member who's kind of sticking around, but other 4 members are new. So they're all involved in the project and have been for a while. Wayne is now leading our growth and partnership worker proposal. I'll talk about that in a second. Adam is on that worker proposal as well, and obviously he's one of the OGs, the early developer on the project. Emily has been doing and working with partners for a while, and GP has been involved on the dashboard project as well. So that's the new steering committee. And we have now also streamlined the worker proposals. So obviously in this winter, we kind of had to, as we continually evaluate our burn rate and how much funds do we have coming in versus we're spending, we kind of decided to reduce the spend. And as a result of that, we basically have 3 worker proposals now instead of a bunch of others that we had before. And we had to reduce the people that are full-time workers as well. So there's now core infrastructure worker proposal. I'm leading that. The FIO growth and RevOps, Wayne is leading that, and treasury management. Luke is leading that one. That's just basically payments and things like that. So again, we've kind of reduced the burn rate. Eric, which you've been working very closely, is kind of moved on. He's still involved. You can see him online from time to time, but he's no longer full-time on the project. I've taken over a lot of his responsibilities together with Ed and Michael Lead, who will talk about the release here in a second. On the marketing side, Wayne couldn't make this call, but a lot's been happening. We kind of run this Twitter crypto handles campaign. I don't know if you noticed that. Basically, now you can turn your Twitter handle into a FIO crypto handle. And that was pretty successful. We had over 8,000 people take that up and actually converted their FIO handle to, Twitter handle to a FIO crypto handle, so can now receive crypto. We are growing our engagements on social media and throughout. We've done a branding refresh. So you've seen the logo. It's a little kind of brighter colors, and that applies to the website and the dashboard. We're executing our content marketing strategy, where we're producing a lot of content. You will start seeing that throughout social media, 30 to 50 videos per month. Kind of hired a company to do that. So anytime you see any of our videos out there in social media, feel free to retweet and share so we can get a broader reach. We have gained over 4,000 new followers. Our engagement rate is increasing. We have increased in impressions and new accounts that we're reaching in social media. And we have a bunch of new campaigns coming out. In June, we're going to be focusing on FIO token. So you'll see a lot of kind of educational campaigns around the utility of the FIO token. We're going to have a lot of also some staking contests coming up as well with partners. So that's on the marketing side. On the partnerships, like I said, we continue to sign up new partnerships. Here's kind of like a few highlights that we have. We have MetaKeep. This is actually a pretty interesting product, like a single sign-on wallet, focusing on the gaming sector. So we actually are now trying to venture into having like a gamer handle that is based on the FIO crypto handle. So that is being built as we speak, and hopefully we'll see some traction with some games in the near future of that. On that, Cinco, another partner. It's launching in Latin America and adopting the FIO protocol. Dapprater, integrating FIO data in their platform. Edge app, obviously Edge has been one of our key partners from the beginning, but they're potentially going to be enhancing the FIO experience and adding FIO registration as part of their onboarding, which has been super successful with Opera, for example. It's one of our key integrators right now. Generating most of the FIO crypto handle is Opera. And that's because it's part of the onboarding. When you go to the Opera browser and you download or actually enable, you don't have to download it, enable the crypto wallet, you basically automatically get a FIO crypto handle as part of that onboarding experience. So that's been pretty successful, and stably will be adding the wrapped FIO to their product. So like I mentioned at the beginning, we have over 75 partners integrated FIO protocol right now, and many others coming. Here's a quick look at the foundation financials. We've been really focused on kind of preserving our treasury, especially during the winter. There's been a lot of projects out there that had their token depreciate by 95% and a big hit on their treasury. We're fortunately have been very conservative in our treasury management. So even in this winter, crypto winter, we still have over $7 million in our treasury. We basically, right now, our income is about $145,000. Primarily, most of that is actually coming in the foundation tokens being minted for the foundation. That's going away. And our burn is about 175,000 right now. Assuming no income and no change in FIO token price, we have 33 months worth of runway. Obviously, we hope now we recover from this winter much earlier than that, but that kind of gives us a good cushion. And that was always the strategy of the foundation, to be conservative, to make sure that we're always here. And even when those winters come, we don't run out of funding. Where are we? Okay, so now let's talk about the FIO chain 3.5 release, and I'll hand it off to Michael Lead. I believe everybody knows Michael Lead, right? If not, maybe Michael, you can introduce yourself real quick.
Hello, everyone. Yes, they should all recognize the name, although I'm better known as Eric's protege, and hopefully it's been wildly successful, as we'll find out in this release. We've been working on the 3.5 release for about 8 months now. And as Pavel mentioned, we have 9 FIPS going into this release. So that release will obviously be 3.5 version of the chain, 2.9 version of the contracts, and then we have also the delivery of a new SDK, which will come shortly after the release to mainnet for our core and our contracts. The items, as Pavel mentioned, that are particularly important. One, we have a new contract. That's the FIO Perms contract. It's part of FIP 40. We also increased. We're looking at performance of our chain and recognized one hole, and I'm sure there's a few, but that table will look up performance on secondary indices, and then of course the producer info update, which I know some of you have recognized as another deficiency, and so we fixed that and or upgraded the chain to do that, and that's that'll make it easier for you guys to update that information. I've been over the last month and a half or so, Ed and Adam and the crew have been diligently testing and to prepare for this release. A lot has gone into that testing framework, especially as Eric has moved off. And we should be ready for our MSIG requests early next week. And so look for that email on the chat, and so on Telegram. And so now, as with 3.4, which was also successful, we have it's a multi-phase approach. So because of the new account, we need to get those initial actions and fees out there as part of the, in the first MSIG, and then the new fee perm account creation along with privileges and permission on that account, and then to follow up with the contract updates. So that'll be 3 phases. So it worked. It was a little bit of a long haul, although for 3.4, although the big part of that was the wrapping side. But we appreciate all the attention to those multi phases, and certainly, we can't do anything without you guys. So that's super important. So thank you for 3.4, successful 3.4 release. And then we expect, within a month and a half or 2 months to be ready for deployment. And that's only, really because of those 3 phases. Obviously, it takes a week or so to get those MSIGs created and then signed, and then, checking the chain for any issues. So that basically wraps up my talk. Hopefully that's gives you guys enough information for the upcoming release. Thank you.
Are there new binaries that are going to come with that, or is it only contracts and MSIG?
There is definitely an update to the chain. So so there's new binaries. The way I did this for 3.4 is I publish, obviously you have access to the source via GitHub, but all that will be part of the release notes that are sent out. And I package it up in Ubuntu Debs as well, for consumption by you guys. So there are binaries, there's new contracts, and then of course the MSIGs to support that. Any other questions?
Michael or Ed, do you guys want to briefly cover the Ubuntu upgrade? I know this is a topic that's been brought up by some of the block producers ahead of the meeting. So do you guys have anything on that?
Yeah, I'll comment on that. We want to make sure that we upgrade to the most recent version of Ubuntu. There's been some chat on the telegrams about that lately, and the intention on the core team is to begin what we call a spike to basically get everything rolled into that version of Ubuntu and see how all the various nodes are performing and see if there's any issues. That activity should begin in parallel with the MSIG rollout to testnet. In this new worker proposal format that we have going on, it's important to note that, we appreciate any help from our BP community. If this is able to be quickly done, quickly prototyped, give us some initial results, we welcome the participation of the block producers and anyone in the community that wants to participate in these various upgrades. But until we, become more fully decentralized, I would say the core team will still have a focus on this. Pavo, maybe you can follow up with that a little. I hope I stated it well.
No, I think you got it. I mean, it's important to remember that obviously there is only so much that this team can produce, especially now that it's been reduced in staffing as part of our worker proposal changes. So if there's any help you guys can extend to things like that, that would be appreciated. Definitely this is one of the items that we will be working on.
And Pablo, I'd like to comment as well. So I do know that this has been talked about several times. Basically, as soon as release 20 got out there, and I believe it's Sweden that has some helpful hints on how to do that upgrade. There was obviously some lessons learned and some gotchas. So like Ed and Pavel mentioned, it's super important to get that feedback, and we'll be soliciting that feedback from you guys, because I think a few of you have actually already done it, or at least attempted. And so we'll certainly be following up as we move forward on that effort.
Well, I'm also curious because some of the issues, I think that maybe y'all have already addressed some custom solutions or even the new platform support, like the latest version of Antelope, Leap now requires, Ubuntu 20 or 22. They've already kind of gone through, well, what all does it take to run all the, at least the core packages and whatnot. So a lot of that trail has been blazed naturally in the 4.0 release, as well as read-only nodes, as well as, some efficiencies in relation to like get tables and all sorts of mechanics. So I'm curious, especially as y'all are trimming down and trying to run a little leaner, I know it's harder to rebase code, but if a lot of those issues are already being addressed, kind of rolling over, and if you're more current with the Antelope, you'll, I think, inherit a lot of the upgrades that maybe y'all are running into and addressing on your own because you have to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, and it's actually a great segue into the next slide here, which is kind of what's coming up for us. One of the key areas of focus for us on the core chain worker proposal is to actually start looking at upgrading to the latest Antelope version. So we don't have that many FIPS in the hopper right now. Obviously with the leaner team, we feel like it's probably one of the core items we should be working on. So as soon as this release, there's I think one like proxy fix that's out there that we are going to focus after this release. But generally, our focus is going to shift towards trying to upgrade to the latest Antelope version, and obviously everything that comes with it. Now, having said that, that's probably is going to take a few months before we can actually get all of that in place. So hopefully we can get that Ubuntu issue resolved before that.
Yeah, I think that the Antelope upgrade is something that's on everyone's mind, and we should pursue it and will pursue it. And it's going to take a lot of testing, and that migration is a big migration that we all kind of understand it a little bit, I think. And I think it'll be in our best interest to really do that Ubuntu upgrade ASAP quickly, see if we run into any stoppers on that. I don't think we will, but.
All right. Well, moving on to some of the other roadmap items, like I mentioned at the beginning, we have a new FIO Ledger app coming out that's going to support all of the other common actions on the FIO chain in the app. We're going to be launching a FIO handle profile. So this is something that we haven't really been focusing that much in terms of letting others, if you have a FIO crypto handle, basically letting others see the information that's tied to it, so they can pay you, or they can see your NFT signatures. Now there's going to be a public page associated with that, and a campaign associated with that. We also have the FIO.id domain that we just purchased. So basically, you'll be able to look up FIO crypto handle by just going to FIO.id/the FIO crypto handle, and kind of see a pretty neat interface showing you all the information that's tied to it. We continue to enhance the dashboard. There's a number of enhancements that is in the works on that. We also plan to revamp the FIO protocol website. It kind of got a little bit of a refresh late last year as part of the rebranding, but we definitely want to consolidate some of our assets that we have out there, whether the knowledge base or kind of spread out there, and really try to consolidate it into a central repository of information and kind of bring it to the next level. So there'll be a lot of content and information coming as part of that. We plan to feature and kind of talk about the blog producers on there as well. So we might be asking you for some content that is specific to that in terms of logos or links or any type of information around that. And just continuing campaigns and continuing integrations and partnerships. That's been kind of our strategy the last few months, and that's what we're going to be working on going forward as well. How can you help? Again, this is something I want to always reach out to any member of the community. First, please vote on the FIA board so that your voice is represented in the governance. Send us FIO partnership leads. I mean, I know you guys are out there talking to all sorts of industry players. And if you see there is an opportunity to potentially integrate a FIO protocol into someone's product that you're talking to, and you think that might be a good fit, hopefully you're already, talking to those people about FIO, but if you can take a more specific action and actually introduce them to Wayne, who's heading up our partnership, and just he has all of the materials, can answer all the questions, hop on the call. He's in all the channels on Discord and Telegram. So whatever you're talking to someone and they might be interested in integrating FIO protocol, then please reach out to Wayne and put him in touch with whoever you talk to, and hopefully that will result in increasing adoption. I've talked about the partner dashboard pages and the landing pages and affiliate program. That's a way for you guys to potentially advertise and make some revenue from the registrations, specifically outside of BP income. So if you have any ideas on that, or you want us to build you a landing page, which you can do super quickly within like a couple of hours, reach out and I'll be happy to chat with you about that. And engage with us and with the community. We now have a weekly Twitter Spaces that our marketing team is hosting. If you ever want to pop into that or join our Discord conversations or any of the community meetings on Discord, it's always kind of showing up what the meetings are. For example, there's actually a steering committee meeting in 20 minutes right after this call that kind of talks typically about more of the hands-on, more tactical decisions that we're making. And also review FIPS. Like I mentioned, there isn't too many FIPS out there. We're kind of focusing more on the adoption side and the front-end application side. There are a couple that have been around for a little bit, but not a lot of response from the community. So we're kind of not moving forward with those. But one is allowing FIO domains to be mapped to DNS records. There's been some discussion, whether that's a good idea or a bad idea. So if you haven't commented on that, that'd be great. And also potentially setting price of FIO domain registrations and renewals are based on length. I think there's a lot of community feedback not to touch renewals, so I think it's just registrations. But there was some discussions like, if you buy a 2-character domain and a 20-character domain, you basically pay the same price. Should that price be potentially different, right? Obviously, that fee is set by you guys, so it's primarily a question to you, and the income goes to you.
What's
So the question
argument for that? I'm curious.
Well, the argument is twofold, and there's actually I will try to post here a link to a page, or maybe somebody can post a link to this page if you have it handy, where there's a lot of discussions on this topic. And there's a couple of arguments. One is obviously increasing the revenue to chain participants, because that fee is distributed to multiple stakeholders, as you know, including block producers. You guys get a big chunk of that, but you're not the only ones. It also goes to the TPIT, it goes to the foundation, right? So that's one reason. The other reason, though, is that inherently shorter domains have higher value, right? And potentially that should be represented in the economics, so that right now. And if you recall, the whole reason behind why there is a fee, a recurring fee for fear domain, is just to kind of discourage squatting, so that somebody doesn't come in and buy up all the domains and kind of clog the system. But right now, you can buy the same. You can buy the 2-letter and 20-letter domain for the same amount of funds, and that also applies to your renewals. So that's basically to align the value. I mean, again, the shorter the domain typically is more valuable than a longer domain, and that should perhaps be reflected. But again, there is a long page in that. I'll try to pop a link to it, or actually, if you go to GitHub to FIPS and find FIP 45, you will see kind of the details. And at the bottom, there is always a link to the discussion, and then you have a lot of comments from the community there.
Thanks.
All right, and that kind of concludes the update portion of this meeting. And I just want to open it up to anybody and see if there are any questions, comments. I see Adam, you have your hand up, so go ahead.
Oh, we're just clapping.
Oh, you're clapping. Okay. Okay, cool. Anybody else has anything they want to discuss?
I did notice I was trying to sell some fear this week, and typically I would sell it through Binance. And I went into Binance and there was like no liquidity at all. The depth was like that, which was kind of strange, because if you went to like CoinMarketCap, it said that, there was like 150,000, 200,000, whatever a day. And I just thought that was really strange. And I ended up using MEXC, which I had never used before.
Interesting.
And-
I haven't
and
I
the-
haven't noticed that. We'll reach out to our market maker. So the foundation is hiring a market maker for market making on a few exchanges, including Binance. So yeah, I'll reach out to them and see if they can give us any feedback.
It was weird. I could have flattened the entire order book for like $1,500 type thing.
Wow.
It was
That's
like nothing.
interesting.
And then I told Shelly, and because Shelly's been trying to get us KYC'd for Binance in Australia, and as a business, and through this 6-month task to get us KYC'd as a business, Binance is pulling out of Australia as far as off-ramp to AUD. So all of that effort was for nothing. And then, so when I told her this, she was like, "Oh no, those guys are broken. That exchange is going under." And I'm like,
welcome to our
it's like
world.
it's like the biggest exchange in the world, though. Like, what's going on? So I just thought it was strange with the fiat, and in particular, there was just nothing in the. There was nobody buying like $1,000 worth.
Interesting. Well, that shouldn't be the case. Like I said, I'll reach out to our market maker. Now, obviously, the volume generally in this winter has gone down drastically across the board, but it shouldn't be that thin. So
yeah, it was nothing there.
So yeah, we'll bring it up to our market maker. Thanks.
So I used MEXC, and it was pretty good, and there was like a whole lot going on there. I had never heard of MEXC until 2 days ago.
Can you spell Mixie? What? I've never heard of that.
MEX, MEXC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like 150, 200,000 US of fear reported in CoinMarketCap as volume. MEXC.
Got it.
Interesting. All right.
Ascendex also works. That used to be Bitmax. They're also a few.
I remember BitMEX. Yeah. This is MEXC.
All right. What else?
Who, you mentioned the FIO.id. Who's sort of managing that? Who owns that domain?
The foundation. So we just acquired that recently.
Great. That's exciting. I think there's opportunity there. So
Yeah, we wanted to have a short URL just so you can, just like put it in the footer of your email, for example. And we didn't want to have like dashboard.fioprotocol.io/something. So we just like, yeah, let's look out what's out there. We kind of looked, we have a portfolio of domains that we've owned for a while. But we felt like, oh, FIO domain is available and it is super short. So why not use that? And we got it. Anything else? Or maybe you guys can give us a little bit of an update. What are you seeing out there in the industry? How are things looking?
Cold.
I want to hear predictions too. Like, what predictions do you guys have for crypto when everyone's got an opinion, right?
Gonna be cold for a little while longer.
Helpful, very helpful.
Soon though.
Soon.
well, things will clear up after Binance implodes. Then we'll reset.
Well, I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, I think with crypto winter, just keep your heads down and work, and this too shall pass. We'll get past it.
Yeah, that's been our strategy, is just hunker down and build.
Yeah.
Definitely the strategy. It's hard time when it comes to staffing and everything else. And those difficulties are just grinding, but we'll just try and build and do.
Cool.
All right, well, if there's nothing else, thanks so much for joining.
Thanks, Pavel.
And expect, like Michael was saying, expect some testnet M6 next week for the new release, and then sometime in July, hopefully the mainnet. And let's stay in touch. Hopefully, I'll try to make sure that the next BP meeting is not a year from now, so that we're going to meet sooner than that, maybe in 3 months or so. So look out for that. Thanks so much, everyone.
All right. Cheers, everyone. Take care.
Cheers.
Thanks everyone.
Bye. Bye.